I'm Kathy Holloway Hill, and the purpose of our show is to help you to design the life you want instead of living to please others. Are you reluctant to get out of bed each morning, having to face the same old life with the same old problems, reliving your past, having to face the consequences of your poor choices? Maybe you've tried to accomplish a goal and fell short. Well, if you'll join us each week, I am committed to providing you with the information that will lead to your transformation. Regardless of your age, situation, or your past, it's never too late to own your identity, your choices, and your life. And in return, you will see those trials turn into triumphs. So if you're ready to leave the past behind, then climb aboard and let's start living by design right now. Hi, I'm Kathy Holloway Hill, and welcome to Living by Design. And we are very fortunate to be on the beautiful campus of Fairbanks. 22 million Americans in our country suffer from the disease of addiction, and it is so wonderful that we have an option right here in the city of Indianapolis, and that is Fairbanks. We're here today with Shauna Burrell, who is the men's recovery coach, and we are so excited, Shauna, that you have agreed to talk to us today.
It's my pleasure.
Absolutely. Now, Shauna, I know you are the men's recovery coach here at Fairbanks, and just talk to our viewers a little bit about what your role is and what Fairbanks can do to help the people of Indianapolis and the surrounding counties with the problems of addiction.
Actually, we have several programs that are available. We have detox program where individuals come in, get detox off their medication, residential program where they can stay a little longer. After they complete that, we recommend that they do partial hospitalization program or our intense outpatient program. Now, for individuals to get to me to recovery management, they have to at least complete the intense outpatient program.
Oh, okay. All right. So it sounds like there's several steps to getting to a point where they work with you as the recovery coach. So basically your role is just dealing with the recovery aspect of it from the end, when
Yes.
they get to the end
Yes,
of the
I get
program?
them at the end stage, and it's primarily to keep them connected. Statistically speaking, those who are successful are individuals who stay connected, and that's what Fairbanks does. They offer us a free program if you complete the intense outpatient program that they offer. And my job is to help individuals deal with life on its own terms. Real life shows up after they're sober for a while. Family coming back into play again.
Yes.
Job issues, some past issues, maybe some legal consequences they're dealing with, and they struggle with it. And so we're there to support them so they don't go back and use the substance as an option.
Exactly. Now, I know there are, like I said, 22 million, and that number is rising as we speak, million Americans who suffer with the problem of addiction. And I know life is difficult, life is hard. What are some of the reasons that you see people check into Fairbanks and come here for help? What are, like you said, you know, some of the reasons could be job related. What are some of the things that they're dealing with that cause them to turn to substance abuse?
Well, actually, it's often the consequences of the using the mind, mood, altering substance that has an individual to seek help. Oftentimes, it's their employer who have recognized that something's just not right with you, and so sometimes they give them a urine drug screen, or perhaps the individual go to their employer and say, you know, I have a problem, and we find more often that employers are so supportive of individuals who come forward and say that they have a problem and are willing to get help. Other times, you know, through the legal system, individual may get a DUI or possession, and they come to a realization that, you know, this is just not the lifestyle that I have to live, and they make a different choice, and we offer choices here.
I love that. That is wonderful. Now, I know a lot of times people may be in denial, and they want to believe they have it under control. So what are some of the things that you can help our viewers to understand that they need to get help? Because a lot of times they don't think they need help. They think they may be able to just deal with it on their own. So what are some of the things that you see, like signs or some situations that they're doing or involved in where you would recommend that they seek help?
Well, oftentimes mood swings changes with individuals. Oftentimes the hygiene can become an issue, taking care of themselves. Oftentimes they make a decision that they just don't want to be around family. And so when you see individuals begin to isolate or distance themselves, that could be a sign. Missing work, not going into work, calling in different days, taking off and things of that nature. And oftentimes when individuals get to us, what we do, we deal with a lot of denial. We're not expecting every individual to come in and say, yeah, well, I have a problem. You know, we understand individuals that may be the entering stage, but when we identify and help them understand about the disease of addiction, it opens up their mind. And so we tell them about how it works: honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. We help educate them and let them know that they're not bad people,
right.
You know, trying to be good, but they're sick people trying to get well. And so that we try to help them get to that stage.
That's great. That's great. Now, you are the men's recovery coach.
Yes.
Now, explain that. Is there also a women's recovery coach or a youth recovery coach? So how does that whole structure work?
There is. Actually, we have for our adolescents who go through the same practice as the adults go through, the detox, residential program, complete partial hospitalization, or IOP. Okay. Then we have a youth recovery management group for them. We have a counselor that runs that. We have a female who runs the women, and of course I run the male.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have every individual who come through here. We got them covered.
That's awesome. Now, do you see a lot of young people come through here?
Absolutely.
High numbers.
Absolutely.
Of it, really?
Yeah. It is. It's a lot of the youth have a tendency to experiment with a lot of the new drugs that are coming out.
Oh, well,
a whole lot of different things, the bath salts and different things of that nature.
Bath salts?
So, yeah. They have things that they sell in the filling stations that they're trying to cut down. The K2, the spice, and all these things are unhealthy for them, and they try to add different ingredients to it to make it legal to sell.
Wow. Yeah, and see, that's one of the things that I really try to do is help youth to understand that you don't have to turn to addiction and substance abuse because you're being bullied or your self-esteem is low or those types of things, because you just never know what that might turn into.
Absolutely.
Now, how did you get involved in this? What caused you to want to become a men's recovery coach?
Well, I was working here as a CD tech. I did that for a year and a half, and then I had a urge to do more, to help individuals out, and I had went to my boss at that time, and she asked if I ever thought about being an addiction counselor. I said no. She said, think about it, we'll make it happen. And they made it happen, and lo and behold, here I am. I did that 8.5 years, and then the recovery coach position opened up where I can better help individuals from the back end. I don't want to use the term better, but to continue to help them on the back end, because that's where oftentimes individuals have difficulties, because they get detox, it's no longer in their system, life shows up, everything appears to be going good, and they think they have it licked.
Exactly.
And so I help them with that.
I love that. I love that. Now, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be right back with more of Living by Design.
When we were kids, we were told we could be anything we wanted to be when we grew up. But as we got older, we hit roadblocks. Things that once seemed fun started to seem impossible. But somewhere along the way, if we were lucky enough, we found someone who believed in us, who challenged us, who pushed us farther than we ever thought possible. And eventually, we start to believe that we can be anything we want to be when we grow up.
Learning RX brain training is clinically proven to dramatically improve the way your brain works. We team you one-on-one with a personal brain trainer for intense mental exercises, raising IQ an average of 15 points and improving mental performance in every area of life. Learning RX. Serious brain training for serious results.
Are you sick and tired of feeling sick and tired? Do you feel that life is passing you by, yet you have nothing to show for your efforts? Are your employees miserable with low morale and high stress? Hello, I'm Kathy Holloway Hill, founder and CEO of C. Holloway Hill Enterprises. And if you answered yes to those questions, then our quality workshops, seminars, keynote presentations, and one-on-one life coaching will provide you the tools and methods you need to elevate to a higher level of awareness. Life is not a destination, it's a journey, and you keep going and growing. So if you're ready to grow with us and experience results-oriented services, then contact C. Holloway Hill Enterprises today at 812-418-3391. Hi, I'm Kathy Holloway Hill, and welcome back. We are here at Fairbanks, and I am so excited to have an opportunity to talk to Shauna and Ryan. And they have an amazing story that I can't wait for them to share. So I'm going to let you, Ryan, or you, Shauna, whichever one, wants to talk to our viewers about how you met and everything that you went through here at Fairbanks and away from Fairbanks.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I actually met Ryan the first time was on the school bus, first day of junior high school. So we've known each other for quite some time. We became really good friends when we were about 15 years old and just were automatic best friends. Both had some stuff going on at home, different family dynamics, and so we just, just hit it off, and there was just kind of a mutual understanding. And we started dating when we were 17, and we've been together ever since. And we've been married for 16 years, and we have 3 beautiful daughters, 16, 15, and 11. And so we've grown up together, He's my best friend and my husband, and I love him dearly. And but it's been tough. I mean, we both struggled with addiction and alcoholism even before we dated. I mean, that was kind of part of our friendship as well. We partied together, and in early phases, just having fun, being teenagers and things like that. And but I was in rehab twice as a teenager for alcoholism, and Ryan was as well one time, and both of those times were before we started dating. And so it's nothing new for us. I mean, we struggled with it early on, but we I don't know, we managed to make it through. It was alcohol for us both when we were younger, but as we got older, we experimented with other things, but it ended up being an opiate addiction that really got Ryan and I both. In our mid to late 20s, we both became addicted to prescription painkillers.
Right.
And
now let me ask you this, Shauna or Ryan. At what age did you actually start your experimentation? How young were you?
For me, it was around 13.
13?
Started experimenting with alcohol and marijuana at about 13.
Just to try to deal with all dysfunction and
just out of curiosity at first.
Okay.
Just out of curiosity. And then as it progressed, it was a coping mechanism, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good to know, because there are so many young people out there who are curious and who are trying to experiment to be in the in crowd or, be popular. So I'm glad you're saying that it can get serious. It can really lead to something else. So Shauna or Ryan, either one, when did you guys realize that I'm in trouble? We're in trouble?
Well, I would have to say that after looking at how our life was suffering at home, my job, our relationship, we kind of both hit rock bottom at the same time, and we both knew that something had to change. And Shauna actually decided to go in treatment before I did. And I always viewed it as she had the worse problem than myself. But when she went into treatment, it's like all the light shined on my problems and my need for help. So when she took the first step to go in to get treatment, I had no choice but to focus on myself, and that's when I realized I have a problem as well.
Now, did you guys get married while you were addicted and using?
I would have to say that when we got married, it still wasn't as far as active addiction. I would have to say that we still had issues with drugs and alcohol, don't get me wrong, but nothing like it had become after we had been together.
Okay.
Let's see, what would that be, about 10 years, 9 years?
yeah.
So when you started going through the program, did you relapse?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. I went in first and, you know, got sober and was working a great program, was staying connected, and, you know, but Ryan, you know, hadn't made that decision yet. He didn't do anything around me or in front of me, but deep down inside I knew he was still using, and but I kept fighting and moving forward and working and praying and hoping, you know, that he would come around. And I had about 4 months clean, and I don't know, it just started eating away at me just knowing he was high. And then I started thinking, well, you know, why am I the only one doing this, you know? Yeah. And so, you know, and I just told him one day, I said, well, I've made my mind up, I'm going to get high, so either I get high with you, or I get somewhere else, or whatever. So I did.
Did you say that to him?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And he knew I meant it. So I mean, you know, he didn't force me to do it, or what. It was my choice, and I did. And I mean, I got so sick. It was just like unbelievable. And I just got up the next day and I said, you know, I'm not doing this again. You know, I made a mistake. I went to a meeting, got my start over token, got honest, and I came back home and I just said, you know, I love you, and it's not what I want, but I'm choosing recovery and our kids. And 2 days later, he went into treatment, and that'll be 7 years this coming April. So it's
wow.
Yeah.
So 7 years that you both have been clean.
Yes.
And no relapse in that.
No.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
April
amazing.
14th for me and April 16th for him, and it'll be 7 years this April.
That's remarkable. That's
Yes.
something to be celebrated.
Yes,
Amen.
it truly is.
I have to give all glory to God.
Yes.
Because he has been the foundation of my recovery. Speaking for myself, I'll let Shauna speak for herself, but I believe I can speak for her on that as well. But you know, our faith has been the foundation of our recovery.
Man.
Yes,
Amen.
absolutely.
You know, and it's only by God's grace and working on ourselves daily, and I do mean daily, that we're able to achieve one day at a time, which has snowballed into 7 years. And a beautiful life, more beautiful than I could ever imagine, what God has done for us and our family. Just the restoration, the recovery, the spiritual health of our family is by far leaps and bounds where I never could have imagined it would be, and that's beautiful.
I am so glad you said that, because that is exactly what we're all about here on the Living by Design show. And you guys truly are living by design, because you are in a position where it's difficult. Addiction is difficult. It's a disease. And so you chose faith over fear. So I just applaud you both, and I'm just so proud of you both. And may God continue to bless you and your family. We're going to be right back with more of Living by Design.
When we were kids, we were told we could be anything we wanted to be when we grew up. But as we got older, we hit roadblocks. Things that once seemed fun started to seem impossible. But somewhere along the way, if we were lucky enough, we found someone who believed in us, who challenged us, who pushed us farther than we ever thought possible. And eventually, we start to believe that we can be anything we want to be when we grow up.
Learning RX brain training is clinically proven to dramatically improve the way your brain works. We team you one-on-one with a personal brain trainer for intense mental exercises, raising IQ an average of 15 points and improving mental performance in every area of life. Learning RX. Serious brain training for serious results.
Are you sick and tired of feeling sick and tired? Do you feel that life is passing you by, yet you have nothing to show for your efforts? Are your employees miserable with low morale and high stress? Hello, I'm Kathy Holloway Hill, founder and CEO of C. Holloway Hill Enterprises. And if you answered yes to those questions, then our quality workshops, seminars, keynote presentations, and one-on-one life coaching will provide you the tools and methods you need to elevate to a higher level of awareness. Life is not a destination, it's a journey, and you keep going and growing. So if you're ready to grow with us and experience results-oriented services, then contact C. Holloway Hill Enterprises today at 812-418-3391. Welcome back to Living by Design, and I am here with Charlo, Shauna, and Ryan, and I am really just amazed at your story, and I'm just really pleased of everything I've heard thus far today. Now, I want to just talk a little bit about how you guys both became associated with Charlo.
Charlotte, would you
How
like
did that
to?
happen?
Well,
Because I know you said you're the men's recovery coach, so you worked with both of these individuals, is that right?
I did, exactly.
Okay.
Well, in 2007, I was not the men's recovery coach. I was an inpatient counselor at that time, and they needed someone to fill in for the intense outpatient program, which Shauna was a participant in. And it was the women's group. And so they shipped me over there, and I said, I got to go deal with all these women, you know. And so when I got over there, we started our group in a very interesting group, and I saw Shauna just with something going on with her. After the group was over, she was still struggling with something, and she was very tearful. And I asked her, could I speak with her, and asked her what was really going on, and she opened up and she told me that's why she's trying to get sober. Her husband is still struggling with the addiction. And so I asked her to give him my phone number, and he did call me, and I remember us talking, and he asked me how did I know that it would work. And I told him because I came through the program, that's how I know. And so I'll let him finish the rest of that.
Awesome. So Ryan, and so you called Charlo, and,
Absolutely.
and then how did it turn out?
Well, just the sincerity in Charlo's voice, I picked up on that right away, and just hearing his brief story about how basically he came to Fairbanks as a patient and never left. He's worked here ever since, and just seeing that it worked for him, and you know, just the advice that Charlo gave me in early recovery, you know, stick with the winner, stick with the people who have clean time, pay attention to what they do, work the steps, base your recovery off of how you feel. The 12 steps adapt to you. Don't let anyone try to put you in a position where you don't feel comfortable. Just to pay attention to what works and to just give it effort. And like I was told in early recovery, if I gave recovery half of the effort that I gave chasing drugs in the streets, that I would succeed, and I have.
Awesome. I absolutely love the entire story. You guys are amazing, and I know you're going to help so many people with your story and your testimony and your commitment and just giving back. I mean, having struggled yourself, and then now you're giving back to help others. So Ryan or Sean, either one, if you guys could just give advice, just a brief piece of advice to people out there who are still struggling and who are in denial and don't even realize they have a problem, but they do, what would you say to them?
I would say find somebody that you can get honest about. You know, step back and take a look at your life and realize that you don't have to live alone with it anymore. You know, that you can tell somebody, let somebody in, let somebody know what's going on, and after that, connect with people. You know, connect with people like Ryan shared in recovery, people wanting the same things you want, staying in, you know, connecting with fellowships, going to groups, support groups, calling people. I mean, and then God, you know, don't be afraid of the spiritual. Reach out, because I believe I was looking for a spiritual experience in drugs, and it was a false one. It wasn't real, and it kept me looking. But what I was really looking for was God. And so don't be afraid of the spiritual side. You know, look out, pray, reach, try. You know, don't let your fear get in the way of finding God.
That is great advice. And I want to thank you all so much for being here and speaking to us and just sharing a little bit of yourself and your struggles and your recovery. It's just an amazing story, and I thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, fam.
I'm Kathy Holloway Hill, and we'll be right back with Design Your Life.
When we were kids, we were told we could be anything we wanted to be when we grew up. But as we got older, we hit roadblocks. Things that once seemed fun started to seem impossible. But somewhere along the way, we found someone who believed in us, who challenged us, who pushed us farther than we ever thought possible. And eventually, we start to believe that we can be anything we want to be when we grow up.
Learning RX. Serious brain training for serious results.
Next time on Living by Design.
We live in a very competitive world, and we all want our brains to be better, faster, and smarter.
When you talk about SMART, there's really kind of two parts to SMART. There's the knowledge part of SMART, the facts and information that we get at school. I spent 5 years looking for answers, and I came across information for Learning RX, and the science and methodology behind training the brain made complete sense to me as a healthcare professional. We could all benefit from a faster, smarter, more efficient brain.
Yes, absolutely. I love that.
Don't miss Living by Design, Sundays at 6 p.m. on WHMB TV 40.
Hi, I'm back with Design Your Life, and our question this week comes from Frances in Bloomington. And Frances says she is 50 years old, has never been married, and she wants to know, what is she doing wrong? Frances, let me first say that I understand you want to be married, and that's great. Marriage can be wonderful, but don't get caught up in allowing society to make you believe that you have to be married to be happy, because that's not necessarily the truth. Now, if you want to be married, look at yourself, look within, and ask yourself, what types of things am I saying in my self-talk? Am I saying I'll never get married, I'll never find the right person? You have to be very positive, and you have to visualize yourself in a healthy relationship. And then I'm going to jump to the physical aspect of it. I want you to take a physical assessment of yourself. Have you recently done a makeover? Are you still wearing the same hairstyle, the same clothes style from high school or earlier in your life? Be current, be up to date. Men are very visual when they look to choose a woman to go out with. And also, love yourself. Don't be afraid to go out with just to the movies by yourself, or go out with your girlfriends and have fun. Don't always focus your thoughts on trying to find a husband. And the most important thing I want you to keep in mind is that men are attracted to confidence. I want you to make sure you work on your confidence. If a man feels like that you're really desperate and time is running down and I really need to get married right now, that's not going to be something that's positive for him. So make sure you work on your confidence. Don't be very intense and ask really specific questions like, have you ever been married? Do you want to get married again? Just be lively and be upbeat, be confident, have fun, go out, be friends with the guy first, and just enjoy your life. That's the most important thing to keep in mind. So if you keep your self-talk in check, make sure you check your physical appearance and show confidence, trust me, you will find that special someone.